Welcome to this episode of OG55. We got the Italiano and Jalen in the house today. We're talking all about Magic Keys. We're even going to dip into some Universal annual passes. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? The pricing, the pros, the cons, all that good stuff up next on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. Today, we got Jalen back on the channel. Jalen, it's always good to see you. It's been a while. I think maybe like a year and a half-ish, but it's good to see you. How you been?
Not bad, just steady grinding behind the scenes, just trying to get my life on track, and I'm still enjoying the theme parks behind the scenes. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. If you could let everybody home know where they can follow you on social media.
You can find me right here where my name shows, Theme Park EXP626 on Twitter. I made a promise that I'd be more active, but yeah, I've been super busy. But every now and then I'm active on there, so yeah, you can say hello. And sometimes I make a post or so about something. So
Yeah. Check them out on Twitter, or as they call it, X now. Down below, Theme Park EXP626. The Italiano. Long time no see. You look great, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, it's been a real minute. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't recorded since like a few hours ago.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So where can everybody home find you, George, on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There we go. All right. So I was at the parks last weekend, I believe, with Theme Park Wizard and Jalen's parents, and we had a great time. We went on Tiana's. We spent the whole day at the park. It was amazing. But Jalen, your mom was telling me, like, you were gonna get a Magic Key, but then you're like, I'm not really sure. And I wanted to kind of pick your brain on this because there's a lot of talk in the community about Magic Keys and, like, the price increases, and is it worth it? Is it not worth it? So what was kind of your mindset behind that when you were kind of like deciding, like, okay, this Magic Key thing isn't really for me?
So I kind of was just like, when you go through life, like things, more and more important things pop up in your life, like responsibilities and stuff. So I kind of had to, like, when I had the Magic Key last year, I kind of had to like reevaluate, like, okay, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Obviously Universal being on the cheaper end, it made a lot of sense money wise. Like, okay, I can afford that. Like, it's super easy, $20 a month. Like, I'll do that all day long. But do I want to lose the ability to visit Disney parks, like, or specifically Disneyland parks, as often as I did, um, and still have that same experience? I don't think, and that's where it started to differ, right? You can't have the same type of casual experience at Universal that you can at Disney. But there's a price point for that, right? There's a reason why Universal passes are so cheap, because you don't get not nearly half the experience that you get at Disney. Um, and also too, like, distance to, like, do I want to necessarily travel through Los Angeles traffic every 2 or 3 weekends to go to Universal for a couple hours, like, whereas Disney is easier for me to get to. Um, it's just like a lot of that stuff played a part, but also too, it's also too, like, this every second that you wait with Disney passes, you're either gonna miss out to buy one, or the next time they're available is gonna be price increased again. So kind of tricky with that. So
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying, Jalen. And, like, even myself, like, I'm a huge diehard Disney person, and I don't know, like you were saying, with life stuff and all that, and then how expensive these passes are. I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard to do, and when especially when you're, like, theme park nerds like us, right? And you've been so many times, it gets harder to justify that price tag because, like, okay, I've done Big Thunder like 3 million times now. Do I need to pay, near like, $1,500 a month? I mean, a month, $1,500 a year to ride it another 12 times this year, It's a tough call, and I don't know. I can see what you're saying on that. And now, what Magic Key were you thinking about getting? Like, which tier was it? Do you remember?
If I did get one, it would probably be the Inspire again, just because I kind of feel spoiled. Like I experienced everything with the Inspire. I don't know how I'd feel if I did anything less. Um, and you can just call me bougie or whatever, but I don't know. That's just how I feel. Like especially like when I plan like trips, like vacations and stuff. I always make sure that I plan a budget around like what I want. Right, I'm not gonna set my expectations lower or nothing like that. Right, if I want express passes, then I'm gonna make sure I budget to have express passes. Because I know that it'll increase my experience. It'll make it better. Right, with the Inspire Pass, I've set my expectations for the Inspire Pass. So anything below that, I don't know if I'd enjoy it the same, because that'd mean more blackout dates. That'd mean less reservations. And then just certain things like that. I don't know. But I would maybe consider the one right below it, just because I don't think it's that much of a difference.
Yes,
Um,
correct. The Believe Key.
yeah, I don't think it's that much of a difference from what I've seen. So yeah, if in that case, yeah, I think I would consider the belief key.
So Italiana, you recently went through some Magic Key drama. Now you did a couple of live shows on here on the channel to talk about it, but not everyone watches every single video, not every single live. People have lives and have other things to do, obviously. But like, if you want to, like, in a
I
nutshell,
don't know
kind of
why
like,
they wouldn't stop their lives to stop and watch me. I mean, come
I
on, I'm
mean,
the Italiano. Let's go. Come on.
let's go, let's do
Forget
it.
about it.
But like in a nutshell, what happened? What keys were you kind of eyeballing? What was your situation, and kind of go from there?
Yeah. So for me, I definitely understand like where you're coming from, like when you want to budget for something, that you really want to have. And that's kind of like the situation that I usually have, because I'm a unique kind of person, you could say, with these Magic Keys, because I treat myself like I'm a California local, but currently I live over in Pennsylvania. So when I travel cross country, I stay for several weeks at a time, because I'm not going to fly cross country for 2 days and then fly back. That's just absolutely crazy. So I utilize my Magic Key a lot. So I started out with the Inspire Key, but the problem is, until I become a California resident, I can't do the payment plan. So I have to pay it in full every single time, for which I had several cruises that I was doing. I was going to Walt Disney World, going to Universal, and I just didn't have the amount to pay up front for the Inspire Key in the moment when it was time to renew. And I always fear of, if I just wait a little bit and they shut them off, then I have to wait till they go back online to buy a whole nother one. So I downgraded to the Enchant Key just so I wouldn't lose the Magic Key status. Now, I'm still currently using the Enchant Key right now, which hasn't really failed me thus far. It's been giving me all the dates that I wanted. There's a tremendous amount of block-out dates, but thus far, not really any dates that hinders when I can go to the parks. Except I want to go on July 17th of 2025, the actual day of Disneyland's 70th anniversary, for which the Enchant Key is completely blocked out the entire month of July. You can't get one reservation. So when I found out that on the 6th that they were going to reopen for purchases for the Magic Keys, that's when you can upgrade your key when they're available for purchase. Well, the cast member that I spoke to forgot to mention to me that I have to actually be there in person to upgrade a current active Magic Key to a higher tier level. You can't do it online. You can't do it over the phone.
And that's tough when you're down in Pennsylvania, right?
When you're down in Pennsylvania, yes.
I always say, Jalen, I always give George a tough time with his Pennsylvanian accent. Downtown, right?
Downtown for a pop.
For a pop. Yeah, we don't call it pop out here. It's so funny the different regions and stuff. How they call things different. But I do apologize. I had to do a Pennsylvania accent
Of
joke.
course you have to. It's right there. You had to go for it. So and the cast member told me they don't have the software to do it online or over the phone, which
Okay.
I think is quite interesting because with all the technology,
Multi-billion-dollar company.
yeah, everything that like technology has done thus far with AI, with everything, you can't get a simple software to add into your computers that to upgrade a magic key either over the phone or online. Like that just baffles me still. But anyway, I digress. So I was trying to figure out a way of how to kind of have a loophole with this. And a friend of the channel who also watches our lives, Lene Ward, gave me the suggestion of if it was possible, if I could do it, to purchase the higher tier magic key outright. I do apologize. I got the hype train behind me here. That if I can purchase the, I swear that is so rude. That that if I could do it to purchase the higher tier magic key, which I was looking to get the believe key, because it is sort of kind of like the inspire key. There are a few block out dates, but the amount of like the percentage off for food and merchandise, it's not really that big of a difference from the inspire. Plus my girl has the believe key, so I thought would kind of be on that same level too. So like my days would be her days and vice versa. So so I ended up purchasing the believe key, but I made sure I asked Disney first if I could do this, if I could have 2 magic keys under my name. She said under the table, yeah, they don't really like it, but it's not going to penalize you or anything. So I'm not going to activate the believe key until July. And my enchant key is good till August. So once I activate my July, my enchant key, once I activate in July my believe key, my enchant key will then expire in August. And then I will have my believe key all the way through July of 2026. So, and here's the thing, which I had no problem with doing that. I'm glad I found a loophole, but why should it be that difficult?
Yeah. No, it's crazy. You literally just want to give Disney your money.
I told the cast member that. I'm like, does Disney not want my money? Like literally, I'm handing it to you to say, hey, here's my money to upgrade my magic key.
More money.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So you're all set now. You're going for the birthday.
Yes.
So you're all set for July 17th. That's awesome.
Or July 17th. Yes.
That's perfect.
You can't book any of the days yet. They're still in May to make a reservation, but as soon as the reservations open, I'm going to book for July 17th, which I'm going to probably do that first. Because, just in case, because July 17th is probably going to book out really quick.
Yeah, it's gonna book at.
It's gonna book at.
Book at. Now, Jalen. So you didn't get a magic key this year, but like, when's the last time you've been to Disneyland? When's the last time you've been to the resort?
Probably say November of last year.
Okay.
Yeah, November of last year.
So it's been a while. You got the itch to go back, or are you kind of like you're cool right now, like kind of like just taking a break?
No, I'm itching. We're actually going November 30th with my mom and all our family. So November 30th I'll be back, and then I plan on going again in December. If I don't mind missing most of the seasons at Disney, but I will not miss a holiday season at Disneyland. I just will not. If I go once, if I go twice, if I go 5 times, I will not miss a holiday season at Disneyland. So
Jalen has taste, absolute taste. The holidays, the Christmas season or whatever for Disneyland Resort is second to none.
Yeah, so for sure I'll be there. Yeah, I plan on. I almost ended up was it November 6th when they opened up the pool again for the keys. I almost ended up in that, but I recently just got a brand new car, so that just kind of like, well, that's over and done with. So now I'm just brainstorming for next time. So
yeah, but that's cool. I mean, like you said, you're going with your family for the holidays, a few times, and that'll hold you over till next year, and then you can kind of reevaluate where you're at. But you're doing the right thing though, Jalen, with your life priorities. Your car, obviously that's a huge priority. Just your girl, all that stuff is like that comes first. And then if there's extra and you want to kind of splurge on yourself, a little bit, then you can kind of dip into the key stuff. But the thing is though, it's just like we said, it's just so expensive now. It's even the monthly payments because the keys are so expensive that even the monthly payments now are becoming an issue.
I think what killed me too with the payments is that like when it was me and I purchased it for me and my lady last year, it was like around 200 something bucks for the both of us, which doesn't sound bad, right? For the highest tier pass, no blackout days except for the 2 weeks in December and all the other benefits. I'm paying 200 bucks a month for the highest pass when it costs 200 bucks a person for a park hopper for one day. So I really see it as a plus. But I also have like, some younger, like her two younger brothers. They don't really go to theme parks like that at all. And then my younger sister, she doesn't either. So we, me and my lady, we tried to give them, that experience. Like, here's what it feels like to come to a Disney park. And we took them, and they really loved it. They loved it a lot. But it was just like we kind of like thought about like what if we get them magic keys? Well, 200 bucks times 2-3 ends up like 500-600 bucks, and that at that point is like, okay, that's just too much. Like
yeah, it's a lot. It's hard to do. I'm a single guy myself, and right now, full disclosure, I don't actually like my path. I don't actually pay for it to be 100%. With everybody at home, I have a family member who is a Club 33 member, so I'm actually part of her plan.
Don't water it down. You got yours from Bob Iger.
Of course I did, man. I said family member. Bob is family, dude. No, I'm kidding. No, but I'll bring Jalen back in when he's back. But yeah. So full disclosure, I don't pay for mine. I want to be very honest with my audience, but. If I fall out of this system because we don't want to do the 33 thing anymore and I have to get into the Magic Key system, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I have to be honest. I guess I have to kind of evaluate like my situation at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Like Jalen's doing with his car and all that. You just have to kind of evaluate things. But I don't know. Like I think if I did one big Disneyland trip, right? For like, let's say like for the holidays or for the summer, and I stayed at the resort for like 3 or 4 days. Like, let's say when you come out and I'm at the hotel with you and we do like 3 or 4 days, like straight. Right. And I do that once a year. I don't know. I think I might be good. Now I say that now, but is that going to actually be the case when it actually comes down to that? After a year of no Disney, am I going to have withdrawals? I don't know.
Yeah. See, and that's always the tricky part, because just to say you do change your mind. Say up front that you're like, you know what, I want to take a break. Disney has put us in the position that if they keep turning the magic keys on and off, you never know when they're going to come back online.
That's the biggest frustration.
Yes. So it's almost like you have to lock yourself in and pay for it, whether if you know you're going to go or not. Because it's like, okay, you could say, as you said, OG, like, I could say that right now, you know what, I could use a break. But then once you're not going, you're like, damn, I miss it. Like, I feel like I can go a couple times a month. Oh, let me just grab a magic key. Oh, wait, I can't. They have them turned off. And I told the cast member that too. Oh, I was bold on that when she said, oh, when they sell out. I was like, oh, no. I said, don't play that game with me. I said, they're not sold out. They turn them on off. You cannot. There's no such thing as selling out completely of magic keys. What? Do they have a manufacturer that they make magic keys like in this big?
They're not printed tickets.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No. It's exactly what they're trying to do. I remember years and years and years ago. Like I've been talking years ago, like the early 2000s. I remember reading like the old Al Lutz articles and all that stuff, right? About annual pass holders, what they called them back then and everything. And back then Disney had a desire to really rein in a lot of the annual pass numbers because it was getting kind of out of control, right? Then randomly, in 2008 ish or so, they said, hey, you know what we'll do a monthly payment program, which exacerbated the problem even more so. So then it really blew up, like the numbers really blew up, right? So since then, the numbers have been really, really high. The demand has been really high. We had the pandemic. Disney saw, okay, this is our chance to sort of mitigate the numbers, right? So that's what they did. And now they're it's basically like the vault, the Disney vault, like they do with the Disney movies and stuff. They're doing the same thing with the keys now to make sure that that number stays where they want it to stay, right?
And also too, I spoke with another cast member, very nice one, Antoinette. So shout out to Antoinette. She is actually considered as a Disney adult. Like she goes all the time with her family and everything. And she told me, because I told her that I used to be a Premier Passport holder, which the Premier Passport used to allow you to go to both Walt Disney World and Disneyland. No block out dates. Yeah, no block out dates, no reservations. No, you could just come and go as you please. It covered for both percentage off of merchandise on food, and that was only $2,500 for a whole year for both coasts. Now I could imagine what that number would be now, but she told me there's actually there is actually people demanding for the Premier Passport back. And I said, that's interesting, because I was told that Chapek removed it because there wasn't enough demand for it. But she said, no, there's actually a high demand for it, for that people want it back. And I thought that was quite interesting.
That is interesting. Who said this?
Antoinette, cast member.
Oh, okay. You're on a first name basis with Antoinette, George?
Yep.
No, but that's wild. That's absolutely wild. So we'll see. Go ahead, Jalen.
I think too, also why I kind of been content with like not getting Magic Key this year is like there really isn't a lot going on right now. There's a lot of construction, a lot of like walls up. I don't think this year would be a really good year. I feel like I'd be, for me personally, some people, Disneyland's still gonna be Disneyland. And like, those points that I made about being able to people watch and, eat at a nice restaurant, that'll still be there. That aspect will still be there. But also too, there's just a lot of stuff going on. And I feel like it's gonna keep like with all those new announcements, is just gonna, for the next few years is gonna be like that. But specifically Disneyland, there's a lot of walls up at Disneyland right now. It's kind of not, what I mean.
Now, Jalen, let me ask you this: so when they are, I'm not going to say it's completed, because as Walt has always said, Disneyland will never be completed. But as far as like what, just say, like for example, like Avatar, Coco, the new Avengers rides, once they're all up and completed, would that entice you to purchase a Magic Key then?
Yeah, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Even if, obviously, probably by that time the prices will be even higher. But would that still entice you?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I think by that time they'll be up like another 100, $200, because there's no way it's gonna be anywhere close to where it's at right now. When you're inviting people to come to your parks with those type of attractions. But I think I'd want to try to be ahead of the curve, and I try to like purchase a pass if I can, because like you said, they turn them on and off. I try to purchase a key close to the end of the year before the following year when they open all that stuff, so that way I'm kind of like grandfathered in. Like, let's say if I purchase a key in November and all that stuff at that price, at the whatever price is at in November, and then in 2026 in spring and summer is when they open all the stuff. Well, technically I'm good to pay the previous year price all the way up until the next November. So I'm experiencing all those attractions without the, well, I don't know. I feel like Disney wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just killed my own theory. Because I feel like if Disney knew that those attractions were opening the following year, they would make the price for that previous November to be reflective of what
Well,
that is.
no, you actually make a point though, because that's actually another thing that Antoinette was telling me. These Magic Keys are sort of kind of an investment. So if you can kind of hit that sweet spot when to purchase them and then when to activate them, it benefits you, because if it rolls over to the next following year, depending on when you activate it, you could be using a key that you used at last year's prices that would then be like $100 or $200 more at the time when you are using it, but you had a better price for it because you purchased it a year before. If
Yeah,
that
and
makes
that's how I was trying to explain it, but you made it sound way better than how I was trying to explain it. But yeah, that's exactly what I was how I was trying to say it. Um, Also, too, another thing that I know is tricky because when last year when I bought Magic Keys, that was the first year I purchased Magic Keys on my own because my mom would, buy our we had the annual passes when they were the physical card, like we had, she was in charge of all that. And then when I turned 18, she's like, "You're on your own." I was like, "Oh, well, guess I'm not getting an annual pass." And then last year was the first year I was able to get one. I did not know that when you purchase a Magic Key that they charge you for the first payment literally like the next like immediately. I didn't know that. So I budgeted and I got it all figured out. Okay, pay the down payment, pay for the two down payments, boom, boom, boom. It was like 500 some bucks or something like that. I was like, okay, boom. I paid it. And then I was charged immediately again for the monthly payment. I was like, wait, what? I didn't know that. Like, so I guess I didn't read the fine print or something. But that part's kind of tricky too. So I guess on top of whatever the down payment is, you need an additional for whatever the monthly payment is. I didn't know that at all. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been like that for a while now, and that actually, Jalen, that issue it got me too. Like a few years ago, I didn't realize that either. The down payment is completely separate from your first payment, and then I went in there and I was like, okay, I'm paying my whatever the down payment was. I gave them like $200 or whatever it was, and then like a couple days later, they yanked out the first month. I'm like, wait, what? I
Yeah,
didn't
and
know that.
and so just a little. I don't really care, but sometimes like when I make big purchases, I move it from my savings because I don't want it. It's just how I don't know. That's how I have it. I got an alert from Wells Fargo that I was being charged. And I was like, wait, huh? And then I checked my pass. I didn't pay no mind now. I just waved it off. But I checked my passes and it said it wasn't active. That like my passes weren't active, even though I just paid over 500 bucks to get Magic Keys. So why aren't they active? So I called and that's how I found out. Oh, you need to pay the first payment. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that. So I went ahead and did it. Or it wasn't no problem. I was just confused because I'd never heard of that before. Um, but yeah, I've rambled a lot, but what Italiano was saying, like that's exactly how I would try to do it, right? If they have those things, those experiences opening the following year, I'd try to get in that smooth spot and find where I can fit in at. So
Yeah. Now I'm excited for you to try Tiana's.
I'm
yeah.
static.
Yeah, I mean, we went on it this last time with your parents and Wizard and stuff, and I really loved it, man. I really did. I mean, I've been excited about Tiana's. I haven't been. There's a lot of people who have been really down on it. For me personally, I've always been bullish on it. I thought, okay, this is I like this franchise, the New Orleans theme. I can see the potential with this attraction. I'm telling you, the videos don't do justice. I mean, am I right, George? Like you go in there and it's a completely different experience. Like the animatronics and everything in there feels so much bigger in real life, and they're so close to the water, and like it just flows really well. No pun intended, right? It flows really well. I really enjoyed it, and the thing that really impressed me was there's a lot of attractions that like when they overlay them, you can tell it's an overlay, right? Like Mission Breakout, you look at Mission Breakout, it's like you can tell it's the old tower and they put pipes on there, right? With
Yeah,
Tiana's, if I didn't know any better, if I wasn't like a total nerd about this and I follow this stuff on the regular, if I was a first timer, had no pre-knowledge of what was there before, I would have thought this was purpose built from the ground up as Tiana's. They did a
yeah,
fantastic job at converting it,
And it was definitely meant for Disneyland because I've done both versions at Walt Disney World and then Disneyland. Walt Disney World was great, but you can definitely tell the scenes that were meant for Disneyland because the mountain is structured differently and has more room. They had to try to like stretch it to fit where it would make sense, and that's why you get a lot of like dead dark out spots, in Disney worlds, which you
I and
don't get that at Disneyland.
I heard that too when they were showing the pictures and stuff. A lot of people were saying that our version at Disneyland is the true Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and the one in Florida was just more of just we need to have one here and one there, and we can't have Splash Mountain there and no Splash Mountain here. Like if we're gonna do it, we're gonna go all the way. So they made it work.
Yeah.
But I did hear that our version is the true Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So
And also, too, Scott Gustin reported, for anyone who doesn't know, that if you are getting a virtual queue right now for Haunted Mansion or Tiana's Bayou Adventure, you can only get a virtual queue one at a time. So if you get one for Haunted Mansion first, you cannot get one for Tiana's until you use the virtual queue for Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
So if you want to have a higher chance at getting Tiana's, try for Tiana's first before the Haunted Mansion.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So we'll see, man. It was a good attraction. I really did enjoy it. You know, I really thought it was well done. I'm happy with it. I'm satisfied, you know, for sure. So I'm very curious, Jalen. Maybe we'll get you back on the show after you go with your family, you know, in a few weeks or whatever. I'm very curious your opinion on it. Now, George, the Italiano, you're going to Disneyland holidays for the first time, which shocks me because you are the Disney, like you're like Disney.
I'm the guru.
Dude, this guy is like Jalen, like seriously, like this guy in September, he went on 2 different Disney cruises. He just came down to California. You were at the park with your girl, Abby, right? Well, and me too. Just this month or last month, end of last month, October. August, you were at Disneyland for like the whole month, basically. And then you came out before that, what, in April or June?
April and June.
April and June. So you're there all the time. That's why I was shocked when you told me, okay, I've never been to Disneyland during the holidays.
Yep, never was.
I mean, you're here all the time.
Yeah, this year will be the first time.
That's shocker.
Yeah, I wanted to come out last year, but due to work, I couldn't get the time off for it. But now this year I will. So
It's crazy.
I'm excited that I'll be out there for the first week of December.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Jalen, I know you have a heart out. It was great having you back on. It was great having you on, dude. And we'll have you on again very, very soon. It's always a fun time. We'll try to get you and Wizard on here, you know, and we'll talk Universal, talk all that good stuff, you know.
My mom said she wanted to make a guest appearance, but she's out vacationing, so that's her problem now.
Oh yeah, is she on a cruise? I saw her on Instagram with the.
She's on a cruise. I found out through Instagram, so.
Okay, so you and I both, huh? We both found out the same way. That's awesome. I had a great time with your parents. They're really great people. We really had a blast that day. But yeah, I mean, she's always welcome here on the channel. I would love to have her. Absolutely. But Jalen, if you can let everybody home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
You can find me on Twitter, theme park or X, theme park exp626. That's me. I'll be on there every now and then. You guys can say hello. I'll be there.
There he is. Follow this man on X, the Italiano. Where can they find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There he is. So, George, should we end this show like we always end this show?
Let's end the show with the baddie herself.
Baddie, here she is.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.